नरदेवत्वमापन्नः सुरकार्यचिकीर्षया समुद्रनिग्रहादीनि चक्रे वीर्याणि अतः परम् नरदेवत्वमापन्नः सुरकार्यचिकीर्षया समुद्रनिग्रहादीनि चक्रे वीर्याणि अतः परम्. The paucity of time will directly go to the translation and purport. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama. In order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods, he exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist King Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead Sri Ram assumed the form of a human being and appeared on the earth for the purpose of doing some pleasing work for the demigods or the administrative personalities to maintain the order of the universe. Sometimes great demons and atheists like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu and many others become very famous due to advancing material civilization by the help of material science and other activities with the spirit of challenging the established order of the Lord. For example, the attempt to fly to other planets by material means is a challenge to the established order. The conditions of each and every planet are different, and different classes of human beings are accommodated there for a particular purpose mentioned in the code of the Lord, but puffed up by tiny success in material advancement. Sometimes the godless materialists challenge the existence of God. Ravana was one of them, and he wanted to deport ordinary men to the planet of Indra, heaven, by material means without consideration of the necessary qualifications. He wanted a staircase to be built up directly reaching the heavenly planet, so that people might not be required to undergo the routine of pious work necessary to enter that planet. He also wanted to perform other acts against the established rule of the Lord. He even challenged the authority of Sri Rama, the personality of Godhead, and kidnapped his wife Sita. Of course, Lord Ram came to chastise this atheist, answering the prayer and desire of the demigods. He therefore took up the challenge of Ravana, and the complete activity is the subject matter of the Ramayana. Because Lord Ramchandra was the personality of Godhead, he exhibited superhuman activities which no human being, including the materially advanced Ravana, could perform. Lord Ramachandra prepared a royal road on the Indian Ocean with stones that floated on the water. The modern scientists have done research in the area of weightlessness, but it is not possible to bring in weightlessness anywhere and everywhere. But because weightlessness is the creation of the Lord, by which he can make the gigantic planets fly and float in the air, he made the stones even within this earth to be weightless and prepared a stone bridge on the sea without any supporting pillar. That is the display of the power of God. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shrutyavadi Paschatya Deshatari. So when we say who is Lord Ram, and the answer comes Lord Ram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but when these doubts come, how do we reconcile? And that's why a verse like this in Bhagavatam helps us to understand who the Lord is and what He does, how it is so wonderful. How many of you have made promises in life and have not kept? How many of you remember your first promise? Okay. You know, when we were chanting the 108 names of Lord Ram, there was one name of Lord Ram which is called Satyavrata. Satyavache. Satyavrata means the person who he has taken a vow that he will never deviate from the path of truth. And it's a Hindi saying which is, what is that? Reet chali aayi, but jaan Raghukula Reet sada chali aayi, vachan kati. All of you are very, very knowledgeable. Wonderful. Pran jaye par vachan na jaye. we will take one promise of Lord Rama. And I will like to, I have done a course in palmistry and astrology, and I can tell you the promise that all of you have made, your first promise, which you've forgotten. I'll remind you that. And believe me, there is no exception to that promise. And it's very interesting because Bhagavatam reveals what is our first promise. We will come to that in a minute. Now, when we talk about the Supreme Lord Ram, right, so the question that I was asking, when often this question comes, who the Supreme Lord is he really Supreme Lord? We know that in Bhagavad Gita, at least after having seen Mahabharata serial, everybody knows that the Lord descends for what? Which two verses Mahabharata talks about? उससे पहले यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. We know this verse, and it says that to re-establish the principles of religion, to protect the devotees, and to annihilate the miscreants, the Lord comes yuge yuge, millennium after millennium. So to re-establish the principles of religion, to protect the devotees, and to annihilate the miscreants, these are the three things why the Lord descends. But the same Lord also mentions in Bhagavad Gita, sarva dharman parityajya, give up all religious principles. Apparently contradiction, right? He's saying that he's coming to re-establish the principles of religion, and towards the end he's telling sarva dharman parityajya, mamekam sharanam braja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayisami ma suja. What is this dharma? What is this religious principle? What is this principles of religion for which the Lord is to descend? What is it? And Bhagavatam mentions very, very nicely, dharma swanushtita pumsam viswaksena katha suyata notpadayat yadiratim shramayeva hi kevalam. Whatever religious principles you are following, you go to temple, you do something at home, you are thinking you are very pious, very religious, you have come and attended a yajna. But all that thing that you are doing, if the result of doing all these activities, if it is not developing an attraction for Krishna, the Lord, notpadayat yadiratim shramayeva hi kevalam. It's just useless labor. We just want to be good in the eyes of the society or so-called family, relatives and this thing. If people ask, did you go to temple on Navami? Yes, I did. I went. What did you do? I attended the yajna. What else? Took prasadam and came back. With a nice arti, and some pravachan was there. I heard that also. Sadly, no. Notpadayat yadiratim shramayeva hi kevalam. Often, when Prabhupada has given lecture on Ram Navami, one verse he always quotes, that is from Brahma Samhita, to explain who Lord Ram is, and this verse is very nice. Ramadi murtishu kala niyamena tishtan nana avataram akarod bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swam samabhat param puman yo govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Ramadi murtishu, Rama Adi, Lord Ram, etc., Narsimha, etc. Ramadi Murtishu, Kala Niyamena Tishtan. What is the word Kala? Kala means not Chandra Kala. Kala, yeah, what is it? Art? No. Okay, any other guess?
It's what do you call it? It's like I can't explain it, but it's like if I have something that's called
Kala?
talent.
Talent?
Yeah, something similar.
Scale.
What mark?
Mark.
Mark.
M-A-R-K.
Mark.
Or a spot. Right? Spot, right? Spot. S-P-O-T.
No, Kala is actually called plenary portion. So to explain that, when you see the full moon, the sky, and the moon waves, right? It becomes, like Amavasya, no moon day. So moon is still there, but after full moon day, it shrinks. The size reduces. Sometimes the Lord, even if He comes in His incarnation, doesn't exhibit all his qualities. Rama, the Murtishu, you don't find a Narasimha childhood pastime. How many of you heard? One small Narasimha was playing around with kids, and his mother used to take him and pacify him, pull his ears. No, Narasimha comes out ferociously from the pillar, finishes, goes back. Rama di Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. This is translation by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Very wonderful this thing. Niyamena Tishtan means the translation of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. These are called scheduled incarnation. I have told this many times. When you go to airport, you find the flight status, right? What is scheduled, departed, delayed, cancelled. Those are the on time? Okay. So on time is scheduled. Or maybe on time and okay. On time is scheduled. Scheduled means at a particular time the flight will take off. So scheduled means like this Satya, Tritya, Dwapara and Kali, every Tritya Yuga Lord Ram is there. Rama the Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. Niyamena Tishtan means scheduled incarnation. Nana Vataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu. Like that there are so many incarnations. Akarod Bhuvaneshu. In this material world they come and they do wonderful activities. Kintu. Kintu, in that Kintu the whole game is over. Kintu, but Krishna Swayam Samabhat Param Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The example that I took, that verse that I chanted from Bhagavatam, talking about the display of extraordinary power of Lord Ram by building a bridge over Indian Ocean, making stones float. Now when you speak to some people who are atheists, who are the product of Zen Z, Zen Y, Zen B, I don't know which Zen it is, whatever generation, talk to them that there is a bridge, Lord Ram bridge, with the help of some stones. The monkeys were engaged and they were throwing, and it floated. They will say, come on, there has to be some rational, little bit you have to speak sense. No? How can you say the stones float? Impossible. I mean, there's people, just because something they're saying you have to accept. That is where that verse that I spoke is very important. The Lord Krishna, when he expands, there is not just one Vishnu, there are three Vishnus. Out of those three Vishnu, the first Vishnu is called? सब कोरस में सब बोल जाते हैं. First is Karanadakshay Vishnu or Mahavishnu. He lies the bed of Anansesh and there is water and he is lying there, and from his pores unlimited universes are coming. And in each of these universes, this Mahavishnu expands and enters into that as Garbhodakashay Vishnu. From Garbhodakashay Vishnu's navel comes Brahma. And then this Brahma does the secondary creation, and in each and every atom of this universe, the Lord again enters as the third Vishnu, as Kshirodakashay Vishnu, including in our heart as Paramatma. And the word that I mentioned, or the Bhagavatam's description of the creation, is given there are unlimited universes which are coming out. And where are these universes there? They're floating in the sky. Who's holding them? And even the scientists say there are so many planets which are there beyond our galaxies. There's unlimited, uncountable planets which are there floating in the sky. Like Earth is floating. Of course, we are not realizing. They're sitting here, our arms are thinking that no, everything is fine. We are not in the sky. We are floating in the sky. If somebody goes to the sky and takes a telescopic photo of ours, we are floating in the sky. If that Lord can make this gigantic masses float in the sky, what is so big thing about making some stones float in the water? Still, this is the thing that Prabhupada is saying in that verse. Nothing is impossible. When Brahma is born, these are all very finer things. Yeah, we have time. Thank you for that. So Brahma, when he is born out of the navel of Garbhodakashay Vishnu, he sees a universe which is completely dark. And like most of us we do, you're in an unknown place, or you've just opened a door and you're entering into something where there's nobody, and then you say, hey, then what do you hear? Hey, 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 hey. Echo. So Brahma also heard, hey, what's... He couldn't figure it out that day. What am I supposed to do? And he went all the way down to the level of Mahavishnu and came back. Still it was full dark. And suddenly from somewhere he heard these two words. Tapa, tapa, twice. So he understood, there is somebody who is superior to me. Somebody who is more powerful than me. All that he understood is that I have to do austerity. What kind of austerity? He was not aware. And he sat down in meditation, in tapasya, austerity, for 100 celestial years. Not easy. These are not some joke. 100 celestial years. And then after that, the Lord revealed how to do the secondary creation. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Mushyanti Suraya. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye. And Lord revealed that knowledge in his heart. And then Brahma, when he opened his eyes, he shook hand with the Lord. And then, he's sitting, from his face, somebody is coming out, from his back, somebody is coming out, from his right side, somebody, from his eyes, the creation is happening as if it is automatically. I remember in our ISKCON Bangalore temple in Rajajinagar, opposite to that temple, across the road, there is a Mysore sandal factory. The stop also is Mysore sandal factory stop. Right? We had gone there once to meet somebody very important. Okay, and then the person was showing us, and then we were visiting all. We were given VIP treatment. And finally, he just wanted to show how things are happening. He just pressed one button, and there was a conveyor belt in which the soaps were coming, and there was one place where the polythene is there in which that soap goes inside, and then it gets packed, and it goes into a paper cover. All those things were happening automatically. So what do you think? God, what an amazing thing. Just press up one button and everything is happening automatically. But it is not true. There is somebody who is designed, who is programmed, it has all been kept over there. And then it is slowly going, and when an onlooker is seeing, it appears as if everything is automatic. Like that, the knowledge to Brahma is given by the Lord in the heart after doing 100 celestial years. And then when he heard tapa, and when he sits, everything is happening automatically. Very interestingly, this is mentioned in one of my favorite thing. I like this very much. Narad Muni once went and asked Brahmaji. Narad Muni is Brahma's son. Brahmadev, you are the creator. You are creating so many wonderful things over here. Sometimes I see that you are also sitting in meditation. Are you not the primary creator? Like that Brahmadev asked. Now imagine this question is like, suppose your daughter or your son asks you, what is your position in ISKCON? Position? You see, in this temple, whatever you are seeing, some expansion they are thinking of, a new program, Soulful Sunday, a retreat they are planning. Who's behind all of those? Brahma would have taken this opportunity and told, all this man, just sit in meditation. Something is coming out, somewhere everything is coming out. He didn't tell that. What he told is, Narad, both of us, we should surrender to that Supreme Lord, and that is the best thing we can do by surrendering Him, under whose direction this whole creation is going about. That is the humility of Brahma. In our case, we lack that humility severely. You all know Ramayana, where there is this particular instance where Lord Rama was about to get coronated. The whole Ayodhya is, joyous. They're celebrating. Lamps are lit. The next morning, Lord Ram, their beloved, their heartbeat, he is going to be the king. Everybody was ecstatic. Suddenly, one messenger comes to Lord Ram saying that Dasarath wants to meet you. Lord Ram, it's late in the night and thinks, why Dasarath wants to meet me? Anyway, he goes. And it was told that Dasarath is not in his own palace, he is in the palace of Kaikeyi. Lord Ram goes there. And Dasarath is lying crestfallen, his hand on his forehead like this. And Kaikeyi is sitting. So Lord Ram comes and asks his father, what's the order for me? But he's not saying anything, and Kaikeyi says, the first thing that he says is, what is the first thing that he says? You have to go to forest for 14 years. Think for a moment, just for a moment. You know, your closest ally, your closest relative, your closest family member, relative, somebody who comes and tells you, 14 साल के लिए वनवास जाना है. Actually, we may laugh because it is not affecting. We are not seeing that what we are going to lose. It's like just another 7-8 hours, I'm going to become the king of the whole world, and everybody is loving. And I'm told I have to go to the forest for 14 years, not just one. So Lord Ram's response, without even battling the eyelid, without, why me? What is this? Are you out of your mind? I'm Ram. None of those things. Second thing, anything else? And Kaikeyi says, my son Bharat will become the king. Actually, that portion of Ramayana is so heart-touching. How Lord Ram, completely unaffected by that, just goes from there. That is the beauty of Ramayana, where Lord Ram, being the ideal Purusha, Maryada, Purushottam, is exhibiting, is demonstrating how in our life also, when there will be so many ups and downs, when there will be so many things which will not go exactly like a smooth straight line, we should not deviate from engaging in devotional service to the Lord. Very powerful. But what prompted Kaikeyi to act like this? It is the association of Manthara. Now, this is something very important. How Manthara get this kind of thing to Kaikeyi? Manthara was told that, hey, whatever, I don't know how she addresses, whatever she says, oh, Rani Ji, Rani Mata, whatever. Lord Ram is becoming king. Kaikeyi said, very nice, very happy to hear. You take half this treasury of mine, take this necklace. And Manthara is thinking, what foolish lady, it doesn't even understand. Hey, Ram is becoming king. And Bharat can never become king. It's okay, Bharat never becomes king, that's okay. Lord Ram is also my son. Ram becomes king, that's fine. No. After Lord Ram, Ram's sons will become king. And Bharat will not become king. Ram's sons are also like my grandsons, no problem, that's fine. Then Manthara played the worst trick, saying that Kaushalya will become the Patrani and you will become her servant, maid servant, a foolish lady, you are feeling happy. And Kaikeyi got convinced. Ramayana mentions there are 3 things which happened, which made Kaikeyi from a devotee to develop that demoniac tendency. The 3 things. First is Ajnana. Ajnana is ignorance about our true identity. When we forget that we are spirit, soul, eternal, part and parcel of the Lord, and identify with this body, that leads to frustration. Ajnana. Ajnana leads to asakti, attachment to the temporary things in this world. My table, my mic stand, my book, my son, my daughter, my husband, my wife, all these are temporary. Ajnana, asakti, and third is ahankar. अरे मेरे को बोल रहे मैं कौन हूँ बताए? PhD हूँ, अमेरिका में काम करता हूँ, IT में हूँ, हर साल प्रमोशन मिल रहा है, घर को पैसा भी भेजता हूँ, मेरे को बता रहे अहंकार, अज्ञान, आसक्ति एंड अहंकार. These three things, when they come, they make us forget our true identity, get attached to temporary things in this material world, do things which are inappropriate, incorrect. And the whole purpose of this 24,000 verses of Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, the whole purpose of this 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam, the whole purpose of the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita is to is to transform our consciousness, which is absorbed in body, to a consciousness which is meant to serve the Lord. That's all it is. If you take in very quickly, if you churn this whole thing, like if you churn, somebody says, oh, I don't know what is Bhagavad Gita, 700 slokas too much, I don't have time. Okay, go to the 9th chapter, which is called the most confidential knowledge. That is also about 34 verses, I don't have that much of time. Okay, just go to just 4 or 5 verses. You can understand what this whole world is, what I am supposed to do, very crystal clear. 9.10, Krishna says, Maya dhekshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Adhyaksha, Aksha is eyes. Maya adhyaksha, my superintendence. Maya dhekshena prakriti. Based on the desires that we have and the superintendence of the Lord, we get different bodies. Maya dhekshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. World is constantly changing and we are constantly getting different bodies based on the desire that we have under the supervision of the Lord. Second, 9.11, Krishna says, Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanumashritam. Avajananti ma mudha. We are all foolish people. When the Lord comes, we equate him like one of us. Here also 2 hands. How is it that Krishna married 10,000 wives? There's something wrong. Close the book and keep it. To understand this scripture, you need a spiritual master who is self-realized. Otherwise, on our own, if we read, we cannot understand. Cannot. Avajananti ma mudha manusim tanumashritam parambhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. My superior nature, people don't understand. They equate with normal people. Then, moghasa, mogha karmano. Mogha jnana vichetasha. Mogha is baffled. They are hof. एक बंगला बनेगा सुंदर सा कुछ गाना है वो आप लोग गाता हो जो भी हो बंगला मोघासा, but that asa gets baffled. Mogha karmana, we build castles like in the Sor, and one wave comes and everything is finished. Moghasa, mogha karmana, mogha jnana vichetasha. Bewildered people, they think that they can do something on their own. And they try so hard, but it all gets baffled, futile. Then Krishna says the next one, Sadatam kirtano mahatmanastu mam partham daivim prakritim ashrita. So what I need to do? Take shelter of the divine energy of the Lord. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrita. Bhajante ananya manaso bhutaya vadim ishwaram. Gyantva bhutadim ishwaram. And then Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Dridhavrata Namasyantascha Mam Nitya Anyway, those 4 or 5 verses, if you see, that talks about the transformation from mudha, from a consciousness which is completely closed, which is not developed, to a consciousness which is Mahatma. Mahatma is not somebody it's not a title, it's not a designation. Mahatma is a very developed consciousness where one knows what he's supposed to do, what is his constitutional position. I talked about the first and last promise. Let me share what is the first promise that we make. And many of you do not know that this is the first promise we have made. It's very wonderful. The verse I will not chant, I'll read the translation. This comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 31st chapter, 12th verse. This is called Janturuvacha. This is the unborn baby in the womb of mother. That's all of us when we were there in the womb of our mother. This is the prayer we have offered. And what is that prayer? It says, the human soul says, I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only, because he can give me relief from all fear, and from him I have received this condition of life, which is just befitting my impious activities. Actually, this is a helpless prayer. Imagine you are situated in a place which is dark, filled with some innocuous substance, filthy substance, packed up in that condition, very, very, very suffocating, and just utter helplessness when the consciousness comes to that soul, when it becomes aware of what he is going through, very helplessly he calls out, I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the Lord. I take shelter of him only because he can give me relief from all the fear, and from him I have received this conditional life, which is just befitting my impious activities. We say this prayer, but when we come out of the womb of mother, again Ajnana covers us, and then develops asakti, and then comes ahankara, and we forget the Lord again and go through this struggle. To conclude our time, because we have reached the time, there is a very nice verse which the Lord mentions. He says, okay, you have forgotten what promise you have made, doesn't matter. This is the assurance which the Lord gives to Vibhishan. Sakrat eva prapannoyas tavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etat vratam mama. I told another name of the Lord is Satyavrata. That's what one of the names of Lord Ram that we were saying. Here it is Dadami Etad Vratam Mama. This is my vow, this is my assurance. What? Sakrit eva prapanno yas tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. So the translation is, it is my vow that if one only once, just once, seriously surrenders unto me, saying, my dear Lord, from this day I am yours. From this day I am yours. Not just superficial, not enough, oh Lord. I just, whatever the promise that I made, now the Lord is again saying, from this day I am yours. And praise to me for courage. I said, immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on. So on this auspicious day of Navami, some good fortune by the will of the providence, by the mercy of spiritual master, by the mercy of so many Vaishnavas, by the mercy of so many compassionate living entities, we are here. And we are getting a chance to hear Ram's Katha, glories of Lord Ram. Pravishya Karnarandrena, Swanam Sarorubham, see this, Dhunoti Samalam Krishna, Salilasya Dasa. So we get a chance to hear. No, hearing is not a mechanical process. It is not a process to just pass some time, 20, 30 minutes and go. No, I should take the essence. Essence is I am a conditioned living entity because of my ajnana, because of my poor fund of knowledge. I don't know who the Supreme Lord is. I've got so many doubts. I've got so much of attachment. I've got so much of ego. But this one thing I am convinced now. This is the same prayer which the Jantu, which is the unborn living entity, is praying in the womb of mother. Same thing the Lord is saying. Just once. Sakrit eva prapannoyas tavasmiti yachayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam. We have made this promise, we have forgotten. We have conveniently made so many promises, we have forgotten about that. Lord never forgets. If seriously, sincerely, and genuinely from the heart, if you say, oh Lord, I am yours from today. I am surrendering to you. This is beyond me, oh Lord. Please accept me. The moment we say that, then the heart which is filled with this mala will go. There are so many demons, there are so many Ravanas, tiny Ravanas which are getting generated in our heart. Will all get died. Will all be finished. And it is possible if you stay always in association of devotees. This is the clue that avidya, ajnana, asakti and ahankara, it has to go. It is only possible in association of devotees. What is that verse in Bhagavatam 1.2. Vasudeva Katharuchi, Syatma Sevaya Vipra Punyat Tirtha Nishevana. What is the first name? Huh? No. First line. Sushusho Shraddhadhanasya. So Shusho Shraddhanasya, if you engage in devotional service to the devotees, Shusho Shraddhanasya, Syat Mahat Sevaya Vipra, Vasudeva Katharuchi, Syat Mahat Sevaya Vipra, Punyasri, Punyatirtha Nishevana. So when we come in association of devotees, we get a chance to hear, we develop a tendency to serve. Service is the key. That is what is our constitutional position. Life is beautiful when we engage in devotional service to the Lord. Otherwise, no. No matter what you try, how much you do, patch up this thing, whatever, it will not work. So this is what is the beauty of chanting and taking shelter of Lord Ram. Now we will go for Aarti. Before that, we will chant just mantra which we chanted during yajna. Can repeat after me. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Thank you very much for attending. I'll pray and I hope that all of us sitting here, not just you, including